quick update for you guys. I have a few things that I need to communicate, and a lot of times I can't really bury them in videos, so I'm just going to make this a standalone update video. A few things on YouTube. For those of you that are familiar and avid YouTube consumers, you will know that a lot of YouTubers have been having problems with the algorithm and being unsubscribed. Now, interestingly enough, I did a collaboration last month, January, with Tangi, the caver's wife, and she and I had been corresponding. Over the course of a week, I had to subscribe to her channel twice. I was unsubscribed every time I went back and looked. There's a YouTube group that I am part of on Facebook, and when somebody new joins, I'll go to their channel, check it out, and subscribe. Of them, it was like 80% of the channels that I had subscribed to, I had been unsubscribed to. Now, I have a theory, and it's because I'm not an active, avid YouTube watcher or consumer. I go on there and I watch, some little lady on the streets in Thailand making pad thai. I don't even speak the language. It's irrelevant because I'm just watching to see like when she adds ingredients and when she stirs the noodles. Like that's how I consume YouTube. Or if I'm having a problem with something that I'm knitting, I'll go on and I'll see how to do a stitch. But I'm not a connoisseur of entertainment. I never have been. I don't like TV or video, so I think it's kind of ironic that I do this work. But anyway, so people are getting unsubscribed, and because I'm not watching these channels on a regular basis, I'm wondering if that's why they're dropping off. My brother's channel I do watch, and I have not been unsubscribed from his. So something curious but to watch out for. So I want to get the word out to you guys. If you will take just a minute and go to my channel page and look and see if you are still subscribed, and if you would like notifications. In the past, YouTube had put all of my new video releases on your wall, so you would see that all your subscriptions when a new video would come out. They're no longer doing that. You're getting a list of what YouTube thinks you should watch, but not necessarily what you're interested in. So you'll see that little bell down on my channel page. Click that little bell and say that you want to get notifications. Then when I update a video, you won't be left in the dark. You'll get all of those updates like you used to. So just a little bit of house cleaning. I might have to repeat this message in future videos just so that I get everybody that wants to get notifications, I reach them in some form or another. So bell me. Bell me. YouTube is making this a lot harder on us creators than it needs to be, unfortunately. Also, another little subset of that is I am losing subscribers by the hundreds after I post a video. So when I don't post any videos, I have X amount of subscribers come in every month. And then when I'm actively working and posting videos, people are getting unsubscribed by the hundreds, and it's really a bummer for us creators, especially us creators with small channels. We're not making a lot of revenue, and oftentimes we're paying much more for like ingredients and time and camera equipment than we're actually making. So when YouTube changes this algorithm so that now we're being penalized by uploading videos, if we're not uploading to a strict 3 in a row or 3 a week schedule, or if we're not uploading on a daily basis, YouTube is trying to make it easier for daily bloggers or people that upload every day, and so they're getting more traction and notices. And I've noticed my viewership dropped way down. If I release 3 videos in a week, it's about stable with what it has been in the past. But if I only do 1 or 2 videos, they're just not getting watched. They're getting buried and they're not getting promoted, or they're not getting seen, or notifications aren't getting out. So it's a super bummer for us creators that are kudos motivated, and I don't quite know what to do, and I'm not sure the direction and future of the channel because it's hard for me to justify that kind of time and energy investment and monetary investment making videos when they're actually not getting seen. I'm losing subscribers, they're not getting promoted, and I'm really not I'm not doing this for the money. So it's just a super big bummer. In the last couple of months, I've been really struggling with producing content because I feel like, there are those of you that love it, but I feel like, what's the point? Like, my channel's getting negatively affected the more I work, instead of being rewarded by growth and revenue and things that would normally motivate people. So it's just a super bummer. I know a lot of times I put out content that you don't all love, and there's certain videos that do significantly better than others. But this has been going on for about 3 months now, and the patterns are starting to merge, and it's pretty clear. So here's a screenshot of my analytics, and you will see these 2 large drops in subscribers and a pretty steady growth beforehand. That was 3 weeks of no posting videos, and that was 2 videos uploaded on those days where the subscriber drop-offs are. So I know that this is indicative of, can be indicative of content where people just didn't like the videos that I was putting up. But this is a pattern that I noticed the previous month and the month before that, where usually if I put up a video, I'd get a spike in subscribers. Now it's the other way around. So yeah, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what other YouTubers are doing, how they're getting more creative with their content, with their channel, so that they can make it a viable business. Because, I mean, for many of you, you get this content for free, and most people don't want to pay for it. But that means that us creators pay for it. And whether or not, it has to be sustainable for us to continue. So that's the sad reality of doing something that you love. And it's one thing to feel like you're reaching your audience. It's another when you're doing it and you feel like you're shouting in a dark hallway. So yeah, if you have any advice or suggestion, please leave it below. If you've seen this video where I go through and teach you how to convert recipes, how to read recipes, how to compare recipes, you'll know that I've been on the hunt for the perfect rusk recipe. Well, I wanted to do a shout out to Glenn Hubert and his mom, Val Fisher. Thank you, Val, for sharing your recipe, a recipe from South Africa. And in that previous video, I came up with a ratio that I thought would be spot on. Well, Glenn sent me an email and said, hey, my mom's got a recipe. Would you be interested? And I said, yes. And when he sent it over, it was nearly identical to my theory ideal recipe, just a few little suggestions. So I'm going to go ahead and make some biscotti tonight and check out the texture of those, and then possibly do one more rusk recipe. Just, I have a couple tiny tweaks, and then if you guys want to see that video, let me know below as well, and I'd be stoked to do that, because it's just a fun process. They're simple to make, and it's a novel food for us Americans, and it's lovely. So I think you should all have rusks in your life. Okay, what's up next? I've been kicking around an idea of how to make my channel better, how to make it reach more people. It's been fun to be a YouTube creator, and what's really interesting is I see that my audience on YouTube is very similar to my friend group in my personal life, and obviously I'm the common denominator, right? But a lot of people don't understand kind of me and my approach, and I think one of the unifying characteristics of us artists is this need, this desire, this hunger, this absolute unrelenting desire to be seen, to be understood, like really seen. And I think that's why people produce art. and their art is their way of seeing, and they want to be understood, and they want to reach other people that get it. And so for those of you here, you are the ones that see me, you get it. But my work, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I want to talk about stuff that matters. I have like complete intolerance of like chit chat and surface stuff, and I can get very excited about stuff, and I can become completely disinterested in other things. And we all have our quirks, but I've been brainstorming ways that I can breathe new life into the channel, or maybe reach a wider audience so that I can continue this work. And a few years ago, I wrote a food column for a tiny little local magazine called Ready Viva. And it was about food and culture and art, and it was this really kind of hip, amazing editor, and just a really fun little local vibe magazine. And that's where the name Fresh Princess actually came from. So my editor suggested that I write under a pen name, and I said, no, not my style. And she said, yes, that's what we need. And so I said, well, okay, pick a name. And after meeting me and talking with me for like 5 minutes, she came up with Fresh Princess, and it's embarrassingly fitting for my personality type, and I thought it was very funny. And when I went home and told my husband about the name, he's like, and she knew you 5 minutes? So it is kind of tongue-in-cheek, and it's a little bit humiliating, but it's also appropriate, right? So if the shoe fits, wear it. I can be a little princessy at times. So anyway, when I approached Andrea for the magazine, I said, I want to write for you guys, and I don't care what I write. I can write about food, and I can write about psychology, and maybe like a Dear Abby style column. And she obviously had a vision for food, and that's what I ended up writing. But I've always had this like kind of burning desire to be Dear Abby and just test my skills on kind of unraveling issues that we all deal with, interpersonal issues, personal issues. And I just think that would be a super rewarding way to utilize my training and kind of my intuition and my personality. So a year ago, I had this brilliant idea. I thought it was brilliant, of starting a YouTube channel called Psychology. And so I got everything done. I got the domain, I got it set up, I got the Facebook group, and some of you follow me on Facebook. But I just stopped. I stalled out and didn't do any videos because the workload that I have on this channel was my priority, and I just didn't have any spare time. And so it's still there, and I'm going to do something with it, but I'm going to test this out on you guys. So tell me what you think. Would you be willing to write in, to have a write in or have a video in? And I would prefer a video, for obvious reasons. But would you be willing to video in maybe a 1 minute max video snippet of you asking a question, or you have some sort of life problem, or a relationship question, or something of that nature that you're willing to ask on camera? Now, I know a lot of people don't want their face broadcast to the world with their marital problem or whatever it is. I get that. So I thought it might be fun to do it where you send the video in, but you're in disguise, and let the disguises be up to the creativity and the ideas of the watcher, the question asker. And would you be interested in that? Would you be interested in having like a YouTube video version of Dear Abby? Questions, conundrums, etiquette issues, family dramas, anything like that. It was a short story. When I went back to school as an adult to study psychology. I thought I wanted to become a psychologist. So I set myself up so that I could just power through school and get my PhD and be done with it. Well, after my bachelor's degree, we took a little trip, and then I got home and I decided to sell all of my psychology books and my grad school materials and buy art books and become a painter instead. This is how us artists think. So I traded them all in for art books, and I spent a year learning how to paint, and then I had kind of a little bit of an anxiety attack that I didn't have enough life experience to become a painter, that I didn't have a cohesive voice for my art. And I think that was just a dodgy technique of my brain saying, you're a really crappy artist. and art is not where you want to be. And I think it was just a diversionary tactic of fear. But I digress. So back to psychology. And I remember I was having a conversation with my dad, and he goes, psychology? Like, why would you want to study that? Like, just hear other people's problems all day. And that was when I realized that the way that we are called and the things that appeal to us exclusively because it is in our nature to see things differently, to see things in a way that maybe other people don't see them, or to understand them in a way that others don't. And for me, I'd never ever thought of psychology as being people's problems. I thought of psychology, and I still to this day see it as a curious discovery for the truth, and to get somebody closer to their truth without the facade that we have of ego or history or any of these things that kind of cloud our ability to see clearly or to find the solution in the problem. So I knew that I was destined for some sort of psychological endeavor because I see sharing and connecting as being the most important thing we can do, and I also see it as being a process and a learning process. And so I personally would love this. I would love to be able to integrate psychology in some way on this platform. But I don't know what y'all think of that. So leave me a message. So I'm going to give you a recap of all the things I want in your messages because I'm asking for a lot of feedback here. And the next thing, and this is the most exciting part, Mo is here, and she was actually staying with me all last week, but I hoarded her. I didn't get enough of her. So we didn't make videos together because she actually has a lot going on. She's moving to Mexico and is heartbroken as I am. I'm very delighted that I'll have like a warm, sunny place to go visit in the winter. But so Mo's going to be here tomorrow. I've got her for 3 hours, and I have some video ideas, and so I want to see what you guys are thinking. I'm going to get this video up right now. I'm putting this up immediately. But I have some video ideas for the video we're going to shoot tomorrow. Bees. So this weekend, my bee guru, one of the most beautiful human beings that I've met on this planet, came up from California to give a talk about bees, and Mo and I attended so we can share what we learned. And Mikkel Thiel is who we learned from. For those of you Americans, it's Michael Thiel of Gaia's Bees, and he truly is a bee whisperer, and he is the most gentle, he's kind of a personification of like all things beautiful and bee-like. He truly is a bee whisperer. And so we can go through and teach you and tell you like some of our biggest takeaways from his lecture. Now, I met Michael 4 years ago, and I had been a beekeeper for 3 or 4 years prior, and sitting in on an hour-long class with him and chatting with him afterward radically changed my whole concept of beekeeping, and he influenced my beekeeping style more than anybody else. I've read books and books and books, and that small time with him, he resonated so fully with me because I think our natures are similar. And so I'm hoping you're not seeing my calendar events that are flying down on my phone now. So he gave me permission to trust my intuition, and that was very liberating. So I'd love to share the information that we learned with him, and it would be fun to do it with Mo, because she is not a beekeeper and likely had a whole different takeaway from his talk. And it was from 9 in the morning till 4, and then we went to a pub later, and we had dinner and got to chat and ask him a few questions. So that's one option. So bees with Mikkel Thiel, or shibori, which is a Japanese way of folding cloth and dyeing in an indigo vat. If we do want to do the shibori video, I'm missing one chemical, so I might have to go to Portland. So I might nix you all on that, but I might, if I get an overwhelming response, I might have to drive in and find this one fixative, unless I can probably call a dye girlfriend of mine and go over there and get it. So it's not a deal breaker. Actually, I bet she has some. So shibori, folding fabric, clamping it, tying it off, stitching it in ways that you create voids, you create negatives, and then you dip it in the indigo dye vat, and it turns this beautiful indigo blue. And so that's an option, and I bought a bunch of tea towels to do that, and then maybe melt some beeswax and iron beeswax into the cloth so that we have reusable saran wrap, but it's actually fabric that has been waterproofed with beeswax for, wrapping around cucumbers and vegetables, for all of you that are trying to reduce your plastic consumption. So bees is an option, shibori is an option. Rusks, Mo, I could drag her into the kitchen and we could do the rusks video. I'm doing that one regardless, so let's take that one off. So bees, shibori, gardening. So it's early season. I have not gotten my peas, my brassicas, my onions in yet, and Mo is an incredible organic gardener. So we could go out and she could talk about the gardening strategies and the first season plantings, like the early season stuff. Or soap making. I've been wanting to do this video forever, and Mo had given me some olive oil, and I have a delicious, it's the most scrumptious soap. It's coconut milk and olive oil and lye, naturally, but the lye works itself out in the processing. So it's just this simple, beautiful, super mellow, really emollient, lovely soap recipe. And so that might be fun to show Mo and I doing soap. She's never made it, and I've made quite a few batches now. So that would be a fun one to share. So bees, shibori, gardening, soap with Mo. Vote which one you want to see below. And that's it. That's all I have. So in your comment, make sure you're subscribed. Bell me for notifications. Dear Abby, what do you think of that? Would you be interested? Would you want to participate? And if you do have a burning question, my email is below. If you hit the show more, you can see that. And so you don't have to publicize it on comments. You can hit me up privately. And Mo, bees, shibori, gardening, soap. Okay? Have a wonderful evening, and super stoked to film tomorrow with Mo. And if you want soap, you got to leave the comments now, because there's a few things that I need to do. I need to make up a batch tonight so that it has time to set, and then I have something to unmold to show you kind of what it looks like. It's kind of unfulfilling if you watch a video and then you don't actually get to see the thing. It's just like liquid in a mold, which is not as fun as soap in a mold.